welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. I'm your host, Adam Cook, for episode 444, and I am joined by one Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hi, mate. I did wonder what you were going to do with the four bit.
Well, I'd like to think that everyone knows I'm a big Rick Mail fan, so it's not just you and me. There's no Adam Carroll this week, but we have possibly, some would argue, a sexier man than him. It's Christopher White. Hello, Chris.
No arguing.
And modest.
Complete agreement.
Much sexier than Mr. Carroll. Yeah. Hello.
All right,
How
mate.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's podcast time, man. That's all there is to it. It's podcast time. You know, I don't know. It's podcast time.
It's podcast time. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride.
So make sure if you're watching us live, you say hello in the chat. Never mind, you've already done that. Deadbeat Punk. White is bringing sexy back, and we will leave that there and say no more about it, because a lot of games to get through this week. Not get through, that sounds bad. But we thought we'd start with the most obvious one, because I'm not actually sure when this is out, right? I think it's now. By the time you watch this archive, definitely it's out. But Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the game brings the trilogy together. So we've got to start with the expert, the man who's played them all before. It's Christopher Hyde. How are you finding it, Chris? You all right? Enjoying it?
Such an arsehole.
What?
Yes, so I have never played a Mass Effect game. Let's get that bloody elephant in the room. Now I know what you meant. Like, I knew. Now you said what you. Right, I came with you now.
That's
Adam said he was going to do it.
Yeah.
Adam said he was going to do a bit that he thought of on the toilet, and that was it.
Yeah.
That
all rhymed.
Yeah. No.
Wow, that all rhymed. Holy shit!
No, how good am I? Yeah, that was good.
Adam said he was going to do a bit on the toilet. That was it. Wow. Wow.
There we go. I'm like Eminem.
You're not.
Mate,
really.
I'm not. No, not really. So, yeah, I mean, I am here to learn this week about Mass Effect, because I have never played a Mass Effect game.
Okay.
I'm one of those cretins. So please,
Yes.
you two.
Well, yes. All right. Okay. Joke's over. Me and Chris have been playing it. Not that Chris. The Chris who's. Don't have a go at him. He can't play everything all the time. He didn't play games before he joined God is a Geek. He's new to gaming. Remember?
Who's having a go at me? Or are you preempting people having a go at me?
Yeah, that was a preemptive.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Chris White and I have been playing Legendary Edition. Not much. Was a bit surprised to see quite a lot of reviews going up today, because, yeah,
It's like 60 hours worth of games, but
and the rest, all the DLC.
Oh yeah, but we won't judge.
No, we'd judge quietly, privately.
Judge.
It just surprised me to see quite so many scores on such an enormous package. Hey, there's the title of the pod pretty early on. I don't know about you, Chris. I'm just going to write down enormous package. I know you're not going to do that. I'm just doing that. But I don't know about you. I've started. I'm not reviewing it, and I realised that we're not getting it early enough to really go balls deep with this one, other than review it and put some video and chat on the pod. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to play them naturally. Then I was going to play a bit of 2 and 3 as well. I just haven't had time this week. It's been, one of them weeks.
No, I know.
We should start with 1, or Mass Effect, the original, because it's probably had the most work done on it. The trilogy is, as a whole, 4K 60, depending on your performance mode or graphics mode. But they tending to aim for the 4K 60 on the higher end consoles. It isn't a native PS5 and Xbox Series XS game. Runs fine on them. I'm playing on PS5. I know you are too. Oh, I'm sure you are. Where do we start? Where do we go? Because the first game has had the most work done on it. Because it needed the most work done on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you've played Mass Effect before, you're going to love it. Well, no, it's difficult, because like my memory of playing, I played this a few years after it came out originally. When 3 came out, I played them back to back. So it's still quite a while ago, like still 7 or 8 years ago. But when you play remasters or anything, you're always trying to remember like how the original was to see how it compares, and like it's a lot smoother in some ways. Like obviously the visuals, we know that they look better, and they do. I mean, it is Mass Effect, so it's hard. I'm not going to spend time talking about the game.
No, but the age of it is relevant. Because the first thing I noticed when I first, and literally the footage people have just seen, is the guy who plays Joker. I've actually forgotten his name. Seth Green. Something. Seth Green. Seth Green was massive at the time. He was probably still is doing Chris from Family Guy's voice acting, but he was massive, and it was like, oh my god, that's Seth Green. And now I've just not been able to pull his name without someone telling me. So it was a very long time ago. I think people want to know how it runs, and I think they want to know how it looks, and I think there's a little more to it than that with the first game. The second and the third game, you've experienced a bit of, and you can. Yeah,
the first game, the best thing to do, and it's what I did a couple of hours ago, actually, just to see, was watch some of the original game on YouTube, just see some gameplay, just to kind of see, well, that's quite different, or that isn't. And from the main thing of it, the way this game saves automatically is a bit frustrating.
It's weird.
It just freezes the game, saves, and it does that when you're about to talk to someone. So you initiate a conversation, autosave pops up, freezes the game for a second, then dives into the conversation. Things like that. It kind of jumps in and out a bit. But obviously, it's quite fast. The transition into cutscenes and dialogue and then gameplay is quite smooth. But there is a bit. It's a bit sharp. It's not as sharp as it could be, and that's kind of what we need to really analyze, because it's the changes they've made.
So does it do that save thing on 2 and 3? Because I can't remember if that was a thing or not.
Yes, I think so.
I was going to say this is why we've not reviewed it yet.
But this is it.
It needs to be played. There's massive these are 3 games, and the first game, which I loved at the time, is quite different to the second and third game. That they went from a very much BioWare RPG that you could shoot in to action shooter RPG. And what I get the feeling of is that with this Legendary Edition remaster, they've tried to make one more like 2 and 3. I am going to anger people because I don't think it works particularly well. Which is not to say it's suddenly a bad game. I think this needed remaking. I think they should have done what they did with Mafia. Remake 1, up-res 2 and 3, because there's some really weird shit in 1 now. The combat doesn't feel right. It looks really sharp and really clean. It's really nice looking game now. The environments are terrific. The characters look like dolls. It's almost like the game looks better than the cutscenes now. The voice acting's still the voice acting. The dialogue,
the eyes,
the story,
man. It's the eyes.
The eyes.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, Thunderbirds. Big
That's
time.
what they remind me of now.
But people are seeing the shooting on the video right now, and it's not particularly satisfying in the first game. I remember it being better in the second and third. So whether this is
it is. But you're right. It's still not quite as satisfying. It's still because the first game's a lot slower in pace.
Yes,
it's not all action. There's a lot of kind of chatting and going from one place to place and trying to negotiate and whatnot. With the sporadic kind of gunfight, and that's all still there. They've not changed the game, so they don't necessarily I think you're spot on. They don't need to do what they've done. They need to a full on like with Mafia, because it just doesn't seem to work now. No. Really.
It gave me a really warm feeling of playing it, and I did get that thing of, I could see myself absolutely just engulfing myself in these 3 games and playing nothing else if I was able to do such a thing. But I'm going to be that guy because I'm not saying you wouldn't or anyone wouldn't, but the menus in 1 are still garbage. They could have fixed that. That's something if they were going to adjust the game to the point where they changed the shooting. I think the leveling up and stuff when you're adding points to your character, it's still I don't know. It just doesn't.
No, you're right. It's awkward. Recently going from Wrath of the the Druids,
yes,
and seeing how those menus work. It's so old. It feels ancient. You pause the game to read through. Like the way your quests are logged, you don't have like waypoints or quest pop on screen. You have to really pay attention to the conversations because they'll say, "Oh, you need to go to this place, this district," and then if you're wandering around, it's not clearly signposted, so you have to go back into your journal to read what you said. And like the map, it's a bit awkward, like it's not clearly signposted. The leveling up, it's leveling up's fine, really, but the equipment, I don't like the equipment.
It's a non-event, isn't it? The equipment's the other one. Like, holy shit, you do not know what you are... Unless you've played this recently, or, like, at the time, yeah. But it still feels the same as at the time, where you're like, I don't know what I'm equipping, or what I have... Is that the one I am equipping, or the one I've just got? Like, it's... But it's not even just that, though, man, is it? Like, you know, people are seeing the early stage of the early hour of the first game. Like, there's the bit where you have to defuse the bombs, isn't there? Games don't do that anymore. Like, you defuse the bomb, but in a modern video game, you can move your camera around with the right stick to check if you're being shot at, sort of thing. And you know, are they shooting there? But in this, it's like you press the button to deactivate the bomb, you don't move. You're stuck there. Like, that's it. And that's it. It feels old. And listen, I sound like I'm ragging on it. I still think it's a wonderful game. I don't know. I just...
Well, that's it. That's what we've got to do. We're reviewing the aspects of the remaster.
They've done the work. They have done the work. Like, it looks like I challenge anyone watching this to not go, "Oh wow, that does not." They've done that thing of in your head. That's how you think it looked, and then when you watch the original gameplay, you're like, "Oh wow, no, it didn't." Like, they have done the work on the visual side of it. They have pulled the shooting in from the other games to make one more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, or less awkward, but it still doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like a modern video game, the first one, I don't think, personally.
No.
No. For real or good, you know, I don't know, I would love to have played a full remake of this, because it's still an amazing game. And that series, and like, I do want to play 2 and 3 again, but the cold hard truth is, I won't. I can't. Like, the first comment on the video we did of that was, I don't have time. Like, no one does. No one who has... I don't believe that anyone who has the passion for that series has the time to replay all 3 of those games.
No.
That sucks. That's not their... And hey, that's not their fault. It's not BioWare's fault. It's not the game's fault. It's not the people playing its fault. It's just the people who have that affection from the 2007 game that started then.
It might have been a wise idea to do what they did with Final Fantasy and just release Mass Effect, and then...
Or Mafia, like I say, they did that with Mafia, didn't they? I think they did 2 and 3... No, what did they do? Mafia 1 got remade, though, didn't it? Like,
Mafia 1 got sorted out, and then the other 2 came out with it, but not remastered. Like, remade, right. Whatever.
Just like upscaled or...
Yes. So, but this has had some improvements to the gameplay. Like, I'll tell you what, the Mako is a lot better. Like, easier to control, easier to fire. You can move the camera fully around now, and you have more control with it. And that was one of the issues with the first one. Now that feels like it's been sorted.
That's good.
But like, I'm quite far into it, and I'm not going, oh god, this is so annoying, or like I'm enjoying it, and I think people will, like, new players who Chris, who have never played it before, I think will get on with this fine. They won't necessarily go, "Oh, that's not better than the first one." I think it's quite accessible for new people.
Yes,
but
that's fair.
When you are kind of looking at it as a comparison, then yes, it hasn't improved on kind of important things that made that first game very different to the other 2.
I mean, it is 3 games for the price of 1, and like in the chat here, like Deadbeat Punk says, I like the idea of sitting through them again. I totally like the idea of it. I just know that in practice, I can't. And that might be a kind of what we do thing, you know, where you are kind of like it's almost the worst part of the job is that you kind of have to move on sometimes. And there are games that are good enough, and you're like, well, I'm not going to. Like God of War, I was like, no, I'm just going to keep playing this till I platinum it. Horizon was the same eventually. Like, there are some. I don't know. Steve Chambers says I've not played through 3, so I'm tempted to grab the collection at some point. And again, you're paying for 3, and you're kind of getting 2 and 1 with it. And
oh yeah,
you know,
it's worth it. it is worth it. Like if you,
it's just time for me. Like I don't. It's not that I don't want to play these games because everyone says how good they are, and I know that there's, irrespective of what you guys are saying, there's 3 cracking games here to enjoy. It's just like I say, when you talk about like what 60, 70, 80 with all the stuff added on, all the DLC and stuff.
I think more. Yeah. And not being funny, this isn't a bit the way you play, the pace you're the way you like to sort of pixel hunt. I think it's a ton. I think there's 100 hours there for you.
Wow, yeah.
Maybe more than that. Like that. It's a lot of game.
You know, which is great for in terms of value, but totally. Just trying to find the time for me, man.
And it's not really even a critique of the game. We're not really even.
No.
It's like when you jump into it, there is that sense of familiarity, and it's like as soon as you start to like alter the Paragon and Renegade system, the kind of the way you actually do impact the story. We all know that. Like I remember massively affected me with Mass Effect 2 and the ending of that.
Massively
I didn't even do that on purpose.
No, I know you didn't. That's why it's so good.
Wow. So
what a game it would have been if they called it that. Massively effective. That was the name of the game.
I'm going to put that in my tagline.
Yeah, please
do. But like that whole section in 2 with the ship and the suicide mission, like, my God, you spent 40 hours up until that point building relationships with Garrus, with Tally, with Ashley, whoever else there is that's left. And then if, you can mess it up and you can lose, people die. Like nobody is safe. And that's what I will always look back, as sadly as it was, as fondly with it as well, because it was so well made. And like to get to experience these for new players is amazing. And if it is like the one game you're going to buy, if you've not got much money or you've not got the time, it's excellent. Like excellent value for money. And they have done a great job. Like it does look like a PS4 era game.
I was wondering. No, you're right. It does.
Slate it, because it's not built for PS5.
No, the environments and the smoke effects and the particles and the HDR genuinely look really nice. There was a few moments where I was doing the bit for the capture, or I was stopping and sort of doing that developer thing of like just moving the camera around. Ooh, that looks really nice. It does. If anyone goes, oh, they haven't done much work, they're like, no, you go and play the original. Go and play the original. Without all the mods from the PC.
Absolutely.
No, and they're still great games. I just kind of, like I say, I felt this warm feeling, but there was also a part of me was like, God, I wish they had remade this, and it felt modern, because it would be a 10 out of 10.
Oh, 100%.
And as it is, it probably is anyway, because they are 3 amazing games, and like, I'm not going to criticize a game. I'm not going to criticize it for what it isn't, because it isn't a remake. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it's taken, because I think there's I think they've had to do right by it, because I think Mass Effect is in a spot right now. There's kind of a part of me that just wants to say, right, look, I'm not going to play these 3 games again, but I didn't finish Andromeda, and I didn't think it was awful. Maybe it's time for that, because that, a bit like I'm playing with Valhalla, like maybe it's time for the Andromeda playthrough. Now it's been, I don't know. We should move on, because like you said earlier, what is there to? It's Mass Effect,
Yeah, exactly.
So what else
read the review.
When the review's live, read the review that Chris has played the game. So what else have you been playing, Chris?
So I previewed a game.
Did you?
I previewed 3. Well, I previewed a couple actually, but I want to talk about one of them, and it's called Scarlet Nexus.
Thank God that's the one I have footage of queued up.
I know. I was thinking about doing it, but so Scarlet Nexus is from Bandai Namco, and it is an ARPG. We did the preview chat the other day, and I dropped a few words, I was apparently
faking
words.
it, by the way, Chris. I was apparently faking it. I wasn't. It was genuine shock. I was genuine shock.
It was.
Anyone who watches this podcast knows I'm not the guy that's like, oh my God, YouTube. So it's beautiful to start with. Like the combat is some of the best combat I've played recently in an ARPG. And it's very similar to Nier in the way that it incorporates a lot. Hang on, Chris, if you wouldn't mind, just 1 second. Sorry, just 1 second. Can you say that bit again about Nier?
I can't remember how I said it.
Doesn't matter. No, just say it normally. It doesn't matter how you say it. I've got to react. I've got to do that.
It reminded me a lot of Neo.
Okay. Please continue.
Yeah, in its combat. Because
oh no, sorry, that was just you speaking normally. Sorry.
I'll drop the
okay,
anime in a minute.
I'll have the button. Hang on, I'll have the button over my face. Okay, go on.
Okay, cool.
Please.
So it incorporates a lot of different kind of combat actions, such as your general kind of swordplay with your light and heavy attacks, and then as the character I was playing as, Yuito, he's got this psychokinesis where he's able to kind of pick objects up from afar and launch them into the enemy. So you could be fighting with your sword whilst doing that. And that offers a lot of kind of variety in how that even happens. Like you can throw something and then that'll hit them and then you'll charge at them with your sword, or you can be fighting with your sword and then you can pull like a car and throw it at them and you'll kind of jump back and then jump in again. And those moves can kind of be upgraded. Then you've got like special objects around the environment, which could be like a crane, and you can like rip kind of two metal girders.
Yeah,
not
possibly.
girdles.
Girdles,
definitely.
Girdles is something else, mate.
Things you wear on the old tarts. But yeah, you can like bring them into play, and they can like launch at the enemy, and then by using your analog sticks, you could like move them in different directions, and it'll kind of do an added attack. And then, as part of your party, you've got other people who can do special abilities like pyrokinesis and hypervelocity. So, you can run really fast.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
I know. You can run really fast and slow down time whilst getting some attacks in. You can use fire. You can use it's all kinesis. Electrokinesis, where you harness like lightning. Yeah. Yeah. And
is Jack Black in the game?
I wish. Oh. Yes, he is. He's in the game. Yeah. He and KG.
That would be something.
That would be amazing. Oh, that would be. Oh man, I'm gonna have to phone Bandai. So the combat's fantastic. And it's more like Nier than it is Dark Souls. Like it's not.
And I get just for another reaction, I get like Astral Chain vibes from it a lot as well.
Yeah, and some of the enemies are like padded with armor, so you have to get rid of the specific bits of armor to do damage, which is a bit like Horizon.
I'm spent, mate. Sorry.
Oh,
I can't.
I did it, mate. Sorry.
I can only get so hard. It's.
Oh, thanks, Chris. So yeah, and then the visuals themselves are like fantastic. Like it's like a Blade Runner futuristic Akira style game. And we've actually got an interview which will be going live soon with the developers. And they talk about all of this, and it's a really fascinating read. So that'll be going live tomorrow or Monday.
The enemies look like, I mean, obviously this is only the first 3 hours of the game that you've played and that we've got footage of sort of skipping about. The enemies, and now I'm doing it and I'm name dropping stuff. The enemies look really Persona-y to me.
They are a little bit, yeah.
Not all of them, but like the ones like on the screen right now, they're like really.
Yeah, they're so different, but they're less cutie.
Flowers with legs.
They're more kind of weird, just in a kind of deranged way. And there's loads of stuff like that, and like so, there's a lot of diversity there. And then the story, whilst I'm not heavily into it, feels very much like a Japanese anime. Like I said, like your Sword Art Online's that kind of thing. But it's actually a really interesting story. It's quite layered. It's not just good versus bad. There's kind of class systems and prejudice and stuff like that. And it, like, for original game, I'm actually quite impressed that it's not been based on anything. So when it actually comes out, there's a lot of systems in this game with leveling and building bonds with like other party members to gain new abilities and just general questing. It's just very easy to play. Like it's you kind of sink right into it.
I mean, it looks super, and I know obviously it's PC footage, so we'll see. But given the power of I don't know if it's actually native to the modern new consoles or not. But it looks really smooth. I don't think it is, but it will still look immense. Like it looked great on PC. It will look good on PS4 and PS5, obviously. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's certainly one to keep an eye on if you hadn't heard of it or hadn't really been paying attention.
Stylistically as well, like the aesthetic and the style of it. Again, I don't want to keep saying it, like not so much the cutscenes, but the transitions. Like, I think you mentioned it in the preview chat, the way the stuff, like it pops out to like there's a scene, like almost like an anime scene. It kind of again is a little bit Persona 5-y in the way that it, I think the transitions and stuff.
There's like, I don't want to call them visual novel elements, but they're
I get what you're saying.
They're kind of so much better than that. Yeah. Like they're well drawn and well animated, and they're not just, it's not just a face pops up, and then this face pops up, and then this face pops up, and it's just you reading dialogue. It's like it's really pretty to look at. So yeah, I'm certainly going to be playing this more when it comes out. But like for the preview, it's worth watching the video and kind of reading the preview because it'll give you a lot more information. But
and watching the reactions as well, presumably.
Yeah.
Deadbeat Punk says it looks like Star Wars for perverts. I think
that's probably why I like it.
Well, I think he meant that in a negative, and I think that's backfired on him, if I'm honest with you. What else have you been up to, mate?
Sorry, that'd sell any game for me. I have also been spending a lot of my time this week in Ireland.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
Is that
went to visit Adam Carroll.
Sort of altercation, is that?
Yeah. No, Wrath of the Druids. I can't even say it. There's so many R's.
That's twice you've struggled with
that
word.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. Wrath of the Druids.
There you go.
It's probably the Guinness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it might be that.
Yeah. So it's good because like it's come out when we've all kind of dived right back into Valhalla. Well, most of us.
All of us. Yeah.
Sorry, we've all dived into it, have we?
And it's good because like most people will be playing.
I don't know why I'm here
after kind of leaving Valhalla behind for a bit and then coming back to this Wrath of the Druids. Whereas we've kind of just dived straight back into it, like and kind of.
Well, I haven't played it, but go on. I'm still playing the base game. Yeah, no.
And like it does feel like more of the same. However, there are new bits in it. Like there's a whole kind of trading, smuggling kind of system to it, where instead of going to monasteries and getting like supplies to build your settlement, you are opening up trade routes that sell different kind of Irish resources.
Because if what this game needed was more mechanics, didn't it? That's like I think I'm 16 hours into Valhalla.
I'll tell you what though, it is only exclusive to Ireland, and also
okay, so it doesn't. Okay, that's fine.
Like you find a trade post, you secure the trade post, and then they'll send Irish resources back to Dublin. And then in Dublin, you talk to this woman called Azar, who's like a new character in it. And the resources you've gathered can be spent on new stuff.
Okay.
So there's only a finite amount of new armor sets and tattoo schemes and settlement schemes and boat schemes as well. Once you've kind of got them all, that's it. So you can literally spend I spent about probably 9 hours doing the whole trade route thing. And then unlocked everything, and then I'm now finishing the quest. But I've spent all this time just going around raiding the monasteries, finding all the viewpoints, all that. Like it's beautiful. Like they've done a really good job. I mean, I don't know what Ireland looks like, so I've never been, but I've seen
pictures.
Yeah, so say
spoken to Adam.
I've spoken to Adam. Yeah, he's told me about the fields. But no, it's amazing, and there's loads. Like the Druids themselves, like. Are really cool. Like they've got the weird Celtic masks on, and like it does feel different, and it's a nice change of pace going there and then having the option to jump back into Valhalla. But for people who have played Valhalla and 100%ed it and are now playing this, it will offer them at least good 20, if not more, hours of stuff to do. But it's enjoyable.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, kind of like you kind of touched on it there, because like DLC for like big games. Like this, or other big games, like the ones that I've enjoyed the most have always been like they have felt very different sort of add-ons. Like I think about like the Skyrim DLCs or like even like Dragon Age Inquisition DLCs and stuff. It's not just more. It's not felt just like more of the same. It's felt like obviously some of the core gameplay has to be the same, but you're in a DLC bit because it feels different either in atmosphere or tone, or even some of additional things are introduced, so it feels different to play in almost in isolation. Is that the case with this?
Yeah, it is, because as I said, playing Valhalla just vanilla now, it's quite noticeable how different it feels and looks, and the stuff you do in there. Like the trade system is really enjoyable especially when you start unlocking the different armor sets, and then there's the usual finding the gold around, like the wealth around Ireland, and unlocking brand new stuff there. And the fact that the story is I know Mick's been playing through the whole story and he's not done loads of the other stuff, whereas I've kind of done the opposite. Put that together, you've got 25 hours worth, I reckon. So I think what Ubisoft have done with this season pass is great, because they're going to get this, and then there's going to be the Siege of Paris, which is out later in the year, which is going to be amazing as well, because that'll be completely different if they do what they do with some of the assaults in Valhalla. So, but Wrath of the Druids is a decent kind of expansion. I would say anyone that's got Valhalla should be playing it.
Fair enough. Okay. We don't have an awful lot more to talk about this week, but we thought we'd check in with Mr. Hyde to see what he has been playing, because a little birdie tells me he started Returnal. I can't remember if you mentioned that last week or not.
No, I did start. So I did start Returnal this week, and only probably put in to a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours in it. So
completed it, mate.
So yeah, completed it first run. Didn't die. Didn't even take any damage, if I'm honest. Really digging the vibe of it. I got strong Metroid Prime vibes from it in terms of a kind of even just the map system and the way it works. Aside from, I guess, the lock on and stuff, but there's clear points certainly in the early game where you're like, that's going to be a grapple point in the future. I'm going to get a double jump or some sort of way up there in the future that I can't quite get to, and things like that. I was like, okay, I can see how I'm gonna unlock things in the future that are going to be useful to come back to. So I was getting really strong vibes on that. You guys have talked a lot, obviously, about the triggers and stuff on that game, and I had to do, I think, what you said in the end, which is just not use it, because I found
Mick. I'd never.
Did you mean
you turned it
don't
off?
Aim?
Don't aim. No, I don't think you're supposed to aim. I think you're supposed to blind fire.
I tried, obviously in the opening couple of rooms where it says and this is how you aim, just kind of press it halfway. It's not halfway. It's like this. Yeah. It's like the lightest bite point on a car I've ever known. It's almost just hold your finger on, not even pressing it, and you press it too far.
So you're saying that the DualSense 5 is basically a car's clutch? Is that what's
pretty much? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it absolutely.
And because I was finding, as soon as you get the alt fire unlocked, I just found anytime I was trying to aim, I was just using that, when I didn't mean to. So I end up you shoot with the trigger, and it works cool. I think I probably end up doing what you guys did, certainly towards the start, which was homing shots are the way forward. I tried other things, and I was just it's just easier, so I just used to do that. But there's so much to this. From I've only played 2 or 3 hours, and I'm scanning new stuff and picking up new things. And
do you know what I would like? I'm gonna say an unpopular thing here. I really want to play this game more. Really do.
Yeah.
I want save points, and I don't want to suspend my console to do it. I don't really understand. I get it. It's a roguelike. But the nature of the game means that a run can be 2 hours before you're onto the third world. That's a significant chunk of game. I wouldn't mind save points being in there. I'm not saying make it easier. It doesn't need to be easy. It's a challenging game, but it's asking an awful lot time-wise, I think, at the moment.
And I think that's the thing.
If I want to play that game right now, after this podcast, that will be my gaming time for today.
And I do find... And I have to say, I've really enjoyed those times, and I will go back to it. But I also do find that because of that aspect of it, I have to be in the right frame of mind. I have to be in a Returnal mood, if you know what I mean. Because, I have to go into it accepting that I could spend the next 2 hours and not get anywhere, or the next hour or whatever, and have to start again. And that's cool. And if you're in that frame of mind, it's great, and you get into the loop of it. Mm-hmm. What I would say is I feel like some of the stuff... with the roguelike nature of it, certainly the first time you encounter a lot of things it doesn't really tell you what they are. Almost like too late. Like I found like there are these like. I'm going to call them. They're not beds, but they might as well be beds that you can lie on, and some of them give you health back and stuff like that.
That is a bed. They are beds.
A bed. Okay, beds. Right.
Now I'm wondering what you have in your bedroom if you don't recognise that as a bed.
Well, it's just a stone. My bed's not made of stone, mate. It doesn't glow in the dark either. So
sorry, there is a bed in your ship as well. With a mattress on it, like a bed.
Yeah, no. So I'm on about the things in the the world. Sorry,
yes, yeah.
So yeah, there is a bed in your ship. You're right, but yeah, like there's so the first one I encountered was not. What is it called? It's It's not malfunction or something. It's the
Chris,
purpley stuff.
I think something tells me from that little giggle that Chris is reading the comments.
Oh, hang on.
I just read it. Yeah. Well, it's a couple of things actually. Saypees has a good point. If they didn't want to put a save point in there because it would make it too easy, make you spend Ether on it. Like make it so that you want to save and go away, fine, but we're going to charge you almost not money. And Deadbeat Punk says you sleep from the ceiling, and then there's a vampire emoji appeared from.
Okay, right, here we go. I can't.
If you live long enough as a vampire, you see. That's how you acquire wealth, because you outlive everyone, and basically. So I mean, I'm not saying that's what happens. A lot of people saying things in the chat, but
okay. So I forget where I was. Anyway, so what's the purpley stuff in it? That it's the negative stuff, the thing where you could get a.
Oh man, thanks a lot for the question. I can't answer. Not
Parasite. I want to say.
Yeah, you're there. Mal.
It's not malnutrition. I don't know. What is it?
Malignant.
Okay. Yeah.
Chris,
so
just a word from teacher. Don't help him in the future. Let him get there. Okay. It's the only way he'll learn.
Okay. So yeah, the first bed that I found was one of those, and I was like, they're like, and like had like half health as it was, laid on it, and had then ended up with like this tiny sliver, like one hit, like it almost like non-existent. And I'm like, right. And then the next enemy killed me. I was like, okay, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, and I think some of those things, it's like, I know now that I have to, if I want to learn,
it's a bit of learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just, I know that's the nature of it. What I'm saying is like, it almost tells you afterwards. Oh, by the way, that was an unfortunate turn of events, wasn't it? Yes, thanks. Now I'm screwed. And I think because of like you said earlier, like, because you can't save, and I could have invested an hour and a half, and then because of something it didn't tell me, I'm screwed. Like, I think that's more where I'm coming from. Like, and but I will say I am enjoying it. I got to what I assume is a boss. It had a health bar and a name. I assume that's a boss.
What was the name?
Frike.
Yeah, that's the boss. That's the first boss.
Yeah, so I got to that boss, and I'd found the house and got in it, but hadn't put the connections together.
What did you think of the house?
I mean, it was all right. Like, it's a house.
See, to me, I was walking around going, "Cool, this is a mansion with all this wonderful."
Oh, mate, yeah, no. It didn't appear to be a bathroom downstairs, so I was a bit miffed, to be honest.
No bidet.
Yeah. No gentleman's wash. I
haven't heard that term in quite a while, actually. And the thing is when Chris shouted Jeeves into his dual sense, nothing happened.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't want to spoil it, but you guys know what happens in the house and the result of exploring the house. Yeah. I didn't realize what I'd got, so I got into the boss fight, and then it's an extra life, right? And spoilers. But like, I got to it just told me, it didn't tell me I got an extra life. It said I got the item, but not what it did. And then I got to the boss.
Okay, no, so you didn't get. I thought that was quite obvious, but okay.
I mean, unless
you're an astronaut. You're an astronaut. You got an extra. It's just me, maybe.
I just thought it was just some random toy.
You're just too smart, Adam, for this world.
Yeah. So anyway, like, I got to the boss, and then I was like, I got down to it's got 3 health bars, because of course it has. Got it down to its last one, and then died, and so pretty much put the controller down, and I was still alive. And then by that point, I'd realised, because it comes up on the screen at that point, the astronaut has granted you an extra life. And I'm like, oh, crap. And by that point, I'd lost 3/4 of my health because it's pretty intense.
If you'd started playing games before 2007, you'd be aware of things like extra lives.
I mean, if there was a thing in the corner that said like Spaceman ×1 and then it said Spaceman ×2, I'd be all over it. Because that's how extra lives work in my life. Not pick up a random object that's not called an extra life and then get told at the point when you're reincarnated, by the way, that was an extra life. Anyway, but the point is, it's a good game.
Okay.
It's a good. No, I've enjoyed it, but I have found it's very much like we're going to tell you stuff after the event and you're going to learn. And then that in your next 2-hour run, you'll know. And that's cool. But it does make me lean more to agreeing what you're saying is I kind of would feel like I could save. Because otherwise, I feel like I'm learning.
Sorry,
but it's fine. Like I don't mind.
This is the problem with doing like a live pod: is that you see something and you laugh, and the person watching it later or listening to it on their headphones doesn't know why I've laughed. And Deadbeat Punk has just said, "Yeah."
Do you know what? I knew someone was going to say that. I thought you were going to say that about the item.
I don't need to, mate. I don't need to.
I just feel like I can't have criticisms anymore. Like, fine,
mate.
I'm crap. Returnal's great, and it does everything perfectly. There we go.
I'm happy with that. Thank you very much for being honest.
Worth £70, yeah?
Let's not have this discussion again. Deadbeat Punk. He's really giving it, but you both barrels, mate. He says it's not like you could read the item description.
No, I know that's what I mean. That's what I was referencing. It's like I'm surprised you guys didn't say that. Well, why didn't you just look at the item description of the doll you picked up? No, I know. Yeah, I know. Whatever.
Phil Tyndall says finally picked up Returnal after resisting it because of its price, but couldn't hold out any longer. Probably took me 2 years to finish it, like most Dark Souls or FromSoft games. Yeah, it's. I really desperately want to get back to it. And the thing is, once you get to the second biome, after you beat that boss, you don't have to fight that boss again, and you can get back to the second one pretty quick. That's why I kind of feel like I would almost want to save, because sometimes you spend so long, because you can still farm that first area to get yourself ready for the second area. Which means even though you can run through the first area, sometimes you've still got a 2-hour run before you get to the second boss. It's like, I don't know. Have you played anything else, mate, that you want to discuss this week?
I want to talk about Outriders just briefly.
Okay.
So me and you have been playing Outriders
for what feels like forever at this point.
For what feels like forever, but we've said on previous pods, it's a good game, damn good shooter, looks good. And the loot system's great. We've talked about that before. We've been progressing it, with a few sessions, just progressing with the story and kind of leveling up together. And there's been a couple of points in our more recent sessions where the last session I very much almost fell out of love with it. I had a bit of a
you were swearing like a bastard.
Throwing my toys out the pram. But what I will say is I do think there are clear moments in this game, certainly the point where we're at, where I feel like there's a couple of difficulty spikes in this game which do seem to jar with what goes before and after it.
Yeah.
And I think it's mainly because this game is really good and is designed to be a cover shooter. And then there are...
I don't think it is, but yeah.
Well, no, it works well as a cover shooter.
Well, there's even skills you can get which are like you'll do more damage shooting from cover. So it is a cover shooter.
Yeah. And then there are areas where you're just in a big open area, there's no cover, and you're surrounded, and you're constantly surrounded. And I think it's at that point where the game becomes harder than it needs to be, because that's when you suddenly realise I'm not a very mobile individual. Because it is, you're not, but if you're behind cover, you don't need to be. You just need to be good at aiming and things like that. Whereas this is, I feel like in those sort of sections, it's not just about being good at aiming or using your skills in the right way. Half of it's about dodging and running away and kind of backpedaling and shooting while you're running backwards, and that's not as engaging as some of the other bits that we've kind of been doing. So I do feel like that kind of showed it up a little bit in where it doesn't work as well, and as such it becomes a more difficult section because it doesn't play to its strengths. And we're having to consistently turn the world tier down just to get past a particular section. It feels to me like if you have to do that, the game's probably not designed in as well in that section as some of the others. But it did only seem to be in those types of environments. So, like I say, cover areas before and after that felt easier. But where those don't exist, it feels like you're just running around trying to, like I say, running backwards, shooting forwards kind of thing, which feels less fun, I think is probably a good way of saying it. And another thing that I wanted to bring up that felt like a bit of an enigma was the leveling system. We'd gone through together pretty much at the same level for most of the journey. And it got to the point where you then changed classes. So really, this is your fault.
Yep.
You were a Devastator, and then you returned back to your Pyro, which is a few levels.
Pyro,
which was a few levels below where we were at. And it just seems to have bought the leveling system a little bit. We're trying to figure it out. Whereas there was a case where just I was not leveling. And not just not leveling slower because you level slower if you're a higher level, but getting less experience.
But you know what I realised actually thinking about this is that this explains why, because Chris White joined us as well for a bit, and we were playing in his. No, were we? I don't know.
Playing yours.
But he was getting mullered because it was leveling. He was getting loads of experience because it didn't quite balance it correctly. I think this game is designed to, if you play with mates, to kind of pick a class and play together with your mates for that class. And if you have another character, fine. It isn't designed for you to. Once you've all hit level 30, it doesn't matter, does it? But when you're 19, 21, 24, and that's what the thing is. I've now played some on my own just to get my Pyro to where we were originally. And I'm now a level above you, which means I'm going to have the same experience as you. Is that when we start playing again, I can convince you to, I'm going to get no XP. But it was a double whammy though, because it was you were getting no XP and we were on this bit that was brutally hard.
I've
not felt another part of the game where I had to scale it that way. We were consistently as the tiers moved up of the world tendency, so to speak. We were. Every time it got to a new one, let's play on the harder. Next one, because that's the way it works. You level up that bar by not dying on that level. The game's saying, you're fine, you've got the right gear. That's why when you die, it starts to drop it back down the level bar. But we were never doing that until this one section.
Yeah,
it's reasonably late game from what I understand. We're not, we're not 10 hours from finishing it. We're closer than that, but it's still such a huge difficulty spike that combined with the XP you aren't getting. I think it's soured you a bit. I think it won't feel that way now we're past that bit. But
no, and I know, it's having just a bit of a moment, and it's fine. And I definitely do want to finish the game.
Yeah, I really want to finish it.
I really want to finish it, and it definitely won't put me off finishing it. I just think I just needed the break for a couple of days on it, right? So it was just like you say, it was literally a double whammy. We were looking at it going, how come you've just leveled up and I've not moved at all, and then the big tough bit came in, which was still tough. We thought, we're higher level now, we've got better gear, and it just wiped us again. And it was just no, this point in the game is just,
it's not right.
It's not right.
It wouldn't be so bad, but there's a cutscene and then another battle, and if you fail in the second one, you're back to the first one again.
Yes,
that's the difference. If it didn't do that, if it checkpointed,
I'd be fine. I think
it'd be fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and we're done. I mean, I'm not. If Chris wants to carry on through it as well, I'll play it again with him, and I'm sure you would do the same. But I would not revel that battle again, especially with a third player. No. I think that. Do you know what? I would be interested to see how many more enemies it can get on screen with a third player, because that tends to be how it scales. The more of you play, the more enemies there are. So I would be quite intrigued to see what it tries to throw at you with a third player.
What you'll find this funny, Chris. The boss we all did together. Story, but then we literally had that moment where it killed the game, so we didn't know what happened in the cutscene. We redid that because we were playing through it with Adam and his new class, and we got so used to let's skip the cutscene because we've seen it before. We got to that cutscene, we both pressed skip, and then we were like, oh no, it's one cutscene in the entire game we haven't seen, and we've had to look up what happened because we didn't know.
She's not dead. She's not dead.
But we will finish it, and it's a very, very, very good game.
It's rough around the edges to the extreme.
I feel like
still buggy. It still takes too long to log in, and yet I have such an affection for how the game feels as a shooter. Even tonally, it's quite jarring at times. How it's all over the shop. It's some really odd choices.
You just have to forgive quite a lot of it.
You have to treat it like it's Diablo.
Yeah, and you enjoy the moment
that you finished 5 times over. So it's like button through everything, just about the loot, just about the shooting, the combat, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to. I think. Which is not to say I am actually kind of intrigued where the story goes, or even with these games, what I'm always fascinated by is how they end, because they have to leave it so you can continue playing. They have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's Titanic syndrome, and you know how it ends. This is like, I know how it ends because I'm going to continue playing as this character, so I don't die. You know. Should we do some listener correspondence?
Let's do it.
Just for those watching live or listening live, if I don't know, maybe you don't want to see our faces, but you want to hear it live, so you put your phone down on the desk so you don't have to look at us. I don't know. I mean, you do you. I'm not going to argue with you. We've got 2 questions. Well, two people's questions, a couple of questions of each. But if you want to get your live chat questions in, maybe start now. We'll start though with G-Town Steve from our Discord, who says, as a youth, I once bumped into a former boxer, Prince Nassim Hamed. There were no smartphones back then, so I couldn't even get a selfie. Have any of you got a shit anecdote of meeting a celebrity?
So
this could be really like if everyone just goes nope.
So no, I've played Mallet's Mallet with Timmy Mallet on stage before. I went to see him at the theatre, like a Timmy Mallet show
in real life.
No, in my dreams.
Well, that's what I assumed it was. Yeah, that's what I
no, in real life. So
we've all played Mallet's Mallet with Timmy Mallet in our dreams.
He came to where I live and did a show. No, and then like I just got asked by like I guess some sort of usher or something. Did I want to go on stage in the second half to play Mallet's Mallet? And I did, and I won obviously because I'm amazing. But yeah, I've played Mallet's Mallet with Timmy Mallet, and I've got hit on the head with said mallet as well.
Did it hurt?
So Timmy Mallet has hit me with his pink mallet.
Sure.
I've got a couple. I've served Voldemort before.
Right.
At the cinema. Ray Fiennes came in.
Actually him, not someone cosplaying.
No, Ray Fiennes. When I worked at Odeon, I've met quite a few people. Like, do you know Eric Banner? He played the Incredible Hulk. He was in Troy. He was in Munich. He was in Dirty John. He's in a lot of stuff. Adam, and he was filming a film with Scarlett Johansson and Natalie Portman, and he came into the cinema. So I was a bit annoyed about that.
Of the 3,
if Scarlett Johansson, oh my god. So I've met him. Katie Price.
Oh,
yeah, she's tiny. I thought she was taller. I think the boobs make me think she's a lot taller than she is, but she's small.
Thanks for the question, Steve.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry,
Alison Hammond.
Hang on. There's a
Alex Ferguson.
No. Hang on. That is interesting. We'll get there. You think large breasts make people look taller?
No.
That's what I got.
She
from
just
that.
comes across as big. Like it gave.
I wouldn't have her down as short. No,
she's tiny. Yeah, but no, I tried on Alex Ferguson's foot at Old Trafford.
Intentionally?
No, I was my mate Rob. He did a tour for his birthday of Old Trafford, so I went with him. And it was on the day that Eric Cantona left, and there was a massive press conference, and like we were near where the press conference was, and he kind of walked out, and all these people, like all these like security, were trying to move him out of the way, and I trod on his foot.
You've forgotten about the time we sort of kind of tangentially met that YouTuber at the Nintendo Switch event. I can't remember who he was, but he was a big name. It took me. Yeah. I've told the story a million times. We won't do it again, but that's a celebrity, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
I saw
and all the wonderful games developers and that I've met. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, obviously them, but I saw I saw a comment today, and I'm not going to say the name. It's sort of irrelevant who it was about, but they were quoted, and I quote the Wikipedia where it called them an internet celebrity, and I just wanted to walk in front of traffic. Like that is.
I want to know who it is now.
Well, it could be anyone. It could be us. We're internet celebrities.
I like to think I'm an internet celebrity.
Oh, yeah, you are. No, you are.
Yeah.
You know, have I met anyone? I don't think.
You need to read the comments.
My wife met, the Feeder singer.
Yeah.
Grant Nicholas. Is it?
Grant
Nicholas.
Yeah, Grant Nicholas.
She met him and got him to sign a tangerine because obviously he did a lot of stuff about tangerines and he like that.
Bare Naked Ladies. I met him backstage.
No, she was close. Oh, right, okay.
No, I had a chat with Benny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dad jokes.
They were sound.
I've met James Dean Bradfield's dad. I'm not sure he's a
you
celebrity.
said about that.
Yeah, was that on the podcast? It might have been.
It was on the music podcast where I was.
Well, moving on.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met anyone famous. I mean, if I did, I'm not really. It's going to sound like it's kind of wanky. I'm kind of not interested. Like I would be the worst.
No one's
to
famous
meet.
to Adam Cook.
The kind of like if I was. I think the only person I would truly be overawed by if I met them would be Rick Mail. I don't think there's anyone else that I would just be like. I'd
be very overawed if I met him now.
Fucking hell, yeah. I mean, Zombie Rick would be
David
amazing.
Jason.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but
David Jason.
I feel like people like that have been treated a certain way their whole life. I'm not going to treat you like that. You're just some cunt. Like, there's not. I'm sorry. You're just some bloke who. No, not him. Not him.
I'm talking about just like who I'd like to meet. Like,
yeah,
inspirational people to me. Like, I would like to meet him. And I wouldn't be like,
not sure that anyone inspires me enough. Well, no, I would hope you wouldn't. I mean, I truly believe that we should all be treated equally, and I think there's so many people who aren't in because of that reason and because of other reasons that we're all aware of. That like I think I'd find it mega awkward because I'm not going to treat you. I'm not like imagine if when Mr. Bean had to meet the Queen. I would not rhyme. They did. I wouldn't want to do that because I'm not curtsying.
Meet Mr. Bean or meet the Queen?
Oh, I'd meet Mr. Bean, but he'd have to be in character, only if he was in character. Yeah. And I would suck him up, Chris. That's just to be clear about that. He wouldn't have a scene.
Even if he didn't want it. No,
he didn't want it. No, this is happening. Sorry, Mr. Bean. But
wow. That's a Christmas special and a half,
I wouldn't I wouldn't want to meet. I don't think. They say don't meet your heroes. So I don't know.
Mr. Bean's your hero.
Mate. Don't meet. Like, what's he done?
What's he done? Rowan Atkinson.
No, what's Mr. Bean done to upset you that you got to be like, oh, Mr. Bean's your hero?
I was just clarifying. That's what you were saying.
Sounds like you got a big problem with Mr. Bean to me.
I think you're just projecting really hard there. I didn't say that at all.
Beg your pardon. With the recent Discord chat about the morning after some spicy foods, what's the hottest food that you've eaten, and how did that work out for you? Love to you all as always. That's also from Steve. So, are we fans of hot, like spicy food here? Like generally,
yes,
I am.
Yeah,
yes, to a degree. I've never done that kind of. Oh, I'm going to eat the spiciest thing in the world.
No, I have to say, I like those people that go, I'm always gonna have like a naga or a vindaloo at the curry house or whatever. Like I don't quite get that because you're just having it just so you can say you've had it. Like there becomes a point where the heat overtakes the taste, right? And you just don't. But like no, I'll always I won't order like a korma at a curry house. I guess is the point, mate.
No, I mean that's for someone who you're trying to get into it.
Have you had those cheese and jalapeno?
Yes. McDonald's or the Burger King.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean the Walker's ones?
Walker's ones.
Yeah. They've got. They are. I think a case of spice over flavour, though.
They are spicy,
I like the second one, the chicken wing one.
Yeah, they're amazing.
The thing is, man, like I really like spicy food, but I'm not a fan of Indian food, generally speaking.
Mm.
Because obviously I am tremendously racist, so I can't eat it.
Yeah. I hear Mr. Bean doesn't like Indian food.
No, I can imagine he is actually a secretly not Rowan. I mean, Mr. Bean as a character, I could imagine him being actually quite racist, secretly. But like, I don't clip that. No, Steve Chambers. That is what everyone says about me. That Adam Cook, you know him, nasty bastard, homophobe, racist. He's if it's got a phobe in it, or is that what they say? What's the saying?
Adam Cook's a racist. I think
that's the one.
Saying.
That's the saying. I'd never really done that. Like the kind of like, oh, what's the? I mean, I like. I don't know. There's a Thai dish. Our local, the Chinese that we used to frequent, also did Thai food, and they used to. Oh, what was it called? They just called it like spicy batong chicken, and that was fucking fiery. But like, it also had a really nice taste to it.
Yeah, the hottest food that I've had, like, which is what Steve's asking, is probably when I went to Thailand. And
what was the result? I think he wants to know the result. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, the results were dripping. Like when the thing is when you like in Thailand, what I find is like you have like
you mean sweat.
Yeah, but
thank
it's just
God.
Yeah, not just not just like anal leakage or something. No, sweating. But like, sorry, like because in a lot of Thai restaurants, particularly for like the tourists, like they have like gradings of spice. They say like you can have any dish, and then you can have like normally 1 to 5. So you say like can I have this, but can I have it like level 1 heat?
Chicken and chips 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Please make an Englishman serve it. That Adam Cook, That Adam Cook, racist to the bone.
And like I did find myself whilst I was in Thailand, like progressing up. I never actually went to 5 because that is ridiculous. But like you go in straight away, like first day, and you're like, yeah, I can do 3 or 4, and you cut. By the end,
really?
You're like, I know I can. Like, you kind of you almost like not build up resistance, but you get an appreciation. And like you say, Thai food is very flavorful.
Where would you say you were at now? Because like that's a really interesting thing actually. Like with our kids, I was not really. I was going to say force fed, but that's not what I mean. Like I was allowed to be a lazy eater. Like if I was that kid that's like, oh, I'm not eating the vegetables or something. Like I was just like, yeah, whatever, you ain't going to eat them, fine, we won't bother. Whereas with our kids, we've really tried to give. I don't know how you. I mean, I know Chris, Hyde, your daughters are a lot younger.
Yeah.
But I expect you're approaching that point where you would like them to, to eat a variety. And what I'm getting to with that is that with my youngest, he's actually got quite an exceptionally high threshold for spice. And he tends to like, if you're talking a bag of crisps, if you said, do you want anything from the shop, he will go for like the Walker's Max Strength, spicy ones, and like not break a sweat. I mean, I'm sweating just sat here because I've got to turn the radiator off. But it's kind of a practice thing as well. Like it's a bit like when I was younger, I could drink 9 pints because I was drinking 9 pints every weekend. Whereas now I could probably, I'm a big guy, so I could have quite a few, but I couldn't do 9 anymore because I'd be under the table. It's with the spice thing, you almost have to.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a consistency thing. Like if you eat it regularly, you're fine.
So where would you? That's what I'm saying. Where are you at now? Because obviously with the situation the world's in, I know we've all had takeaways, but like the idea of perhaps trying something new is not so much. You kind of, I feel like I've gone back into a comfort zone.
I tend to like with Indian food, I will order the same curry that I normally have, even if I haven't had it for like say a year. But I will notice that I haven't had it. Do you know what I mean? Like you notice if you haven't had it because you get the sweats on more, you drip more. But like, and I also find now that like if I have like a Thai soup or something that's supposed to be spicy.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at a comment.
Yeah. I mean, we should read that out. CP's said
we should read all of these out. There's been some
I'll
crackers
get
and we just ignored them. But
like, often been tucking into a tie whilst dripping. Yeah. It's just the thing is, I felt the question Steve was asking for. It was leading you to say, "Oh, I had a
ring sting
madras and I shit up the wall of the back of the porcelain." And when you say I'm dripping, I was instantly like, "Wow." He really does leave it all on the field, doesn't he? Like, this is a man who will leave it. Like, he comes on this pod and he does not like go, that's one we maybe won't broadcast live. He leaves it all on the field. He Linekers it right off. We should move on to the next. Yeah, Chris. Sorry. Sorry. I think if nothing else, Linekering it right off needs to become. He Linekered himself.
You've done Lineker to an adjective.
I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Chris, you need to get that into every single review now.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Linekering.
I've been the Mass Effect one. No, I've never Linekered after a.
I don't think I have either.
I like hot food, but I don't actively search it.
No, that's fine.
But I've got quite good control downstairs.
That's good to know.
Just so you know.
Got good
no, it's good. It's good to know.
I've got fab sphincter control.
That's superb. We should all strive
to have a sphincter like mine.
To have Chris's sphincter. Moving on. Let's go on to the other questions. Fail says, is Lyle's PC ready for Deadly Premonition 2 in a few months? Actually, it is. He's got a gaming PC. Will I end up buying a PS5 in a week? I was in India.
I love the way no conversation. You're just going to answer all 3 of these questions.
I feel like he's.
I feel they're aimed at Adam anyway.
Yeah. Will he end up buying a PS5? Yes or no? In a week, sorry.
In a week.
Which is when I think they come out over there. I think I'm sure he said they're out over there.
I think if he can get one, he definitely will get one.
I think so too.
He'll try. He won't just not try. It'll only be supply reasons.
Yeah, you can't not try if you want one.
Yeah.
And he does want one. He's asking the question, that means he wants one.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think?
He's clearly thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. He wants it.
This one I actually...
He wants it. Sorry.
This one I can't answer. Can anyone guess how many games of mine are at Adam's office?
I mean, I always assume everything in the background is mix.
I think that box there... Wow, that's weird, because off camera I'm pointing at a door, but on the camera, that box there, I think is mostly his. Yeah, and there's other stuff. Actually, just off camera there is his Fire Emblem. Oh, again, and now I'm pointing at the window. Just here, off camera, is his Fire Emblem Collector's Edition. Yeah, no, there's quite a few, but I guess
10, 20. Like, what kind of scale are we talking here?
It's not 20. I've got a console of his here. He ordered the SNES Mini thing.
Oh yeah,
that's his. Yeah. Well, I've got one as well, but I think mine's on the shelf. I don't know where. Yeah, it's on the shelf over there. But his is in a box sealed over there because I think he bought the PAL and the NTSC one because they were different colours. So, talking of racism again. It's... Right, to the live questions. Phil Tyndall says, are you playing Outriders on Game Pass? Would you have bought it if you didn't have Game Pass?
I'm not sure.
So okay.
I don't know. Like, the thing is, Outriders, I wouldn't play it on my own. So if I was buying it, it'd have to be because other people have bought it and we'll play it together. Because I don't. So that would be the only. That would be the only way where I'd do it. If everyone, if you two were saying we're buying Outriders, so we'll buy it, we'll play it together, then maybe. But
I think I'd have bought it because I'm a fan of People Can Fly. I actually thought this the other day, right? If it went out of Game Pass at the end of this month, I would buy it. Yeah, I really enjoy the shooting. Unless I get to the end game and it's just nothing there for me, Yeah, I would. I would buy it because I really am enjoying it. But I did enjoy the demo enough. But that demo was shit, wasn't it? The demo was not a good demo.
No.
Which bit was the demo? Was it the first bit?
Literally the opening hour and a bit. An hour and a bit. It is a bad demo. You don't get much time to play with the powers. I would buy it now, having played it. Yeah, I would. If they took it out of Game Pass, I would buy it.
Yeah, I think now knowing what I know, I would. At the start, I might not have.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Chris White?
Well, I haven't PS5, so what does that tell you?
That you got a code?
No, I would. If we were, if you playing it and you were telling me how good it was, then I would listen and I'd probably get it. Yeah.
So you're saying I'm an influencer?
You are. Yes. You're pretty much an internet celebrity, mate.
A Z-list internet celebrity, you say.
A cook, the
what
racist
can this power
influencer.
get me? Yeah, no, let's stop pushing that narrative because shit sticks, don't they? Saypeace says, with the launch of 2 new PS5 coloured controllers, I see what you're doing there. Have you had or heard of any issues with your controllers? Personally, my R2 button spring has gone and I'm hearing about drift. I have heard people talk about drift. I haven't experienced it apart from on Switch. And I think I had an Xbox controller that did it. I think. It might have been an Elite. I haven't actually had any problem with the PS5, but to be completely honest, until more recently, I haven't been using the PS5 a lot. So I had no problems with it reviewing it. I had no problems with it playing the launch games and any games since. But then there was after Christmas, I'd say, there was quite a barren period for PS5 in that respect. I was playing a lot of PS4 games, like, what was it, Persona... Strikers. Persona Strikers. There's a couple of games that, like Nier, I played on PS5, but it's a PS4 game. I haven't had any problems myself. Have you guys?
No.
Nothing myself. I will say I do like the look of that the black controller. I can't remember what its official name, but Midnight or something. That looks really nice. But the red one's all right too, but I prefer the black one, I think.
I'm doing it myself now. I'm doing it myself now. I really need to, because
Do you like the look of the black controller, Adam?
What do you think, Chris?
I think you prefer the white controller.
And on that note, no, I actually, to be fair, looking at them too, I like the black one more than the red one. I initially saw the red one, I was like, "Oh, that's smart," but then it's a bit. The video doesn't really show them that well. to be honest with you, I've got a white one right here. I like that controller, but I must admit that the black one made me think about the PS5. Like, what was it? Someone in our Discord said that they walk. Was it Matt who just recently got one? And he said every time he walks in the room, it's like there's an enormous cat in his room he forgot about. Like, I think it was Matt that said that. It really amused me, that did. I kind of, now I've seen the black controller, I mean, they're going to put a black... That's
what a lot of people are saying. Like, you've got to do a black PS5 with it.
But you can just take those plates off. So why not just release the shells? I'd rather have the black shells and put them on there. Sorry, it's right there. My PS5 is right there. I'd rather put 2 black shells on there than buy another PlayStation 5, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I think they will get to that. I think they won't do it just yet because it's kind of a bit like people still can't get the damn console, so releasing the clamshell side things would be like a bit of a slap in the face to people who...
Just so you know, the cat thing was clearly Deadbeat Punk, and he's saying...
Oh, was it? Okay,
Matt,
sorry.
Was it?
Okay, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
He'll proceed to just bully you now for the next 10 minutes, I'm sure.
No, he won't. He'll just do it to you a bit more. I mean, I don't dislike the white controller, but I did see the black one, and it reminded me a bit of the PS4 one, and I did like I think I generally like black hardware. Like, I'm not against white stuff, but Jesus Christ. Chris, controllers?
Yeah, whatever. I'll just play the games on my white one. I'm not asked about the colour.
No.
Every colour's the same to me.
You don't even see the colour.
You don't even see the difference in colours.
You don't even see the colour.
I don't even see a colour. I just see a beautiful thing I can hold in my hands and twizzle. It sticks.
With all that haptic feedback. And that is a podcast for this week. What are we talking about next week? Don't know. Can't remember. Actually, probably more games. Maybe I'll be in prison. Who knows at this point? Or in Twitter jail if I was on Twitter. I don't know. Thank you, Chris and Chris, for being here. I'm sure Mr. Carroll will be back next week to talk. Probably, I'd like to actually get his perspective a little bit on that Valhalla DLC because I've seen some conflicting reports from people who are from Ireland. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what he thinks of that because he might have had a chance to play it by then, I think. I will be back with you guys next week. So will Chris and Chris. And for everything else, you can go to godisageek.com. Make sure you do. Make sure you follow us on this YouTube channel if you just found it. Make sure I don't know, would you follow people on Spotify? We're on there. I don't pimp Spotify very often, but make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Patreon.com is where you can find, like we do, code drops. Just done one finally. That's on me. I get there eventually. Gonna do another one soon. And we have got, what have we got coming up?
We get a Discord for the Patreons. You can go in there and just bully me 24/7 in there if you want to. So feel free to come and do that. If an hour and a half of bullying wasn't enough, just come on the Discord and do it all the time.
Have I really been talking to you for an hour and a half? Felt like a lot longer, Chris. And on that note, thank you very much for listening. We're all good friends, by the way, really. It's all just a bit of fun. It's almost like a good podcast is just a chat between mates.
There you go.
I'm as shocked as you. Thanks very much for watching this. I've just remembered I'm also the producer and have to find the button for the end of the podcast. So I'll do that and fumble around a little bit longer while I try and find that. But thank you very much for watching and listening, and we will speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.